You wake up with a searing pain in your skull, unable to move, unable to scream. The world around you twists and shifts like a fever dream. But it's not a dream. This is real. There's blood. There's something wrong with your body. You're not who you used to be. You're someone else. And in the corner of your new room, under the gaze of a crimson moon, a revolver lies waiting. Loaded, silent, whispering. Welcome to Lord of the Mysteries. This isn't just a story about magic. It's not a tale of heroes or chosen ones. This is about a man who dies and wakes up in a world ruled by secrets, where gods are distant and mad, and reality is nothing more than a delicate mask stretched over an abyss. Our story begins with Zhou Mingrui, an ordinary modern-day man, or so he thought, until everything fractures. A brutal headache shreds his consciousness apart, and he awakens not in a hospital, not in his bed, but in a room that doesn't belong to him, in a body that isn't his. The air smells wrong, the furniture is old, antique, the ceiling is low, the gas lamps flicker, and outside, the sky bleeds crimson. He is now Klein Moretti, a man who, only moments ago, shot himself in the head. There's blood on the wall, a grotesque wound on his temple, a diary with cryptic phrases, and most haunting of all, a line scrawled in the ancient Hermes language. Everyone will die, including me. What happened here? Why is Zhou, a man from Earth, inside the corpse of a suicidal young history graduate in a city he's never heard of? Already, the trap is set. And it's perfect. The moment Zhou wakes up, you're caught. There's no clean way out of this story. The rules are broken. Time no longer matters. Death isn't final. Reality is negotiable. But here's where it starts to dig deeper. The story doesn't just throw you into another world. It dares you to stay there and survive. As Zhou tries to collect himself, memories, foreign ones, flood his mind. Memories of Klein, of his family, his past, his debts, his dreams. And slowly, disturbingly, they begin to blend with his own. Zhou is no longer just occupying Klein's body. He's becoming Klein, thought by thought, choice by choice. We meet Benson, Klein's older brother, strong, kind, responsible, a man hardened by poverty, and Melissa, the younger sister, sharp-tongued, brilliant, hiding her pain behind cold logic. This isn't some fantasy realm of elves and dragons. This is a world that breathes, gritty, industrial, cold, full of people scraping by, living in soot and silence. The world of Lord of the Mysteries is a mirror, beautiful from afar, but cracked underneath. Steampunk gears hum beside arcane rituals. Airships float above cults. Churches serve gods that may be watching and waiting to devour. Nothing is what it seems, and everything has a price. Which brings us to the ritual. Before all this, before the suicide, before the transmigration, Zhou, still in his original body, performed a ritual he found in an obscure book, a so-called luck enhancement ceremony. He thought it was a joke. He laughed while drawing the symbols, recited the incantation in broken tongues, thought nothing of it. And then he died. Now in this world, he finds that book again, performs the ritual again, and something answers. The second time, it works too well. Suddenly, reality peels open like wet paper. He hears whispers, not words, not thoughts, frequencies, impossible sounds vibrating in the bone. And then he falls into the fog, not fog like weather. This is a space, an endless sea of gray mist, illuminated by unseen stars and bleeding crimson light. It stretches beyond time, beyond physics, a place outside the world. And there, he meets them. Audrey Hall, the daughter of a noble house, brilliant and curious, who dreams of something greater. And Alger Wilson, a weathered sailor whose soul is tangled in secrets. Both were living their lives, separate, unaware, until they too were pulled into the mist, into this place, together. None of them know why. None of them understand how. But they all look to one figure, the man who brought them here, the man who performed the ritual, Klein Moretti. And in that moment, standing in a place no human should stand, Klein makes a decision that changes everything. He does not deny it. He does not explain. He becomes it. When they ask who he is, he simply says, "You can address me as the Fool," a name, a mask, a myth, born in a heartbeat. From there, the illusion becomes something real. The fog churns. A long bronze table materializes. High-backed chairs empty, waiting. He doesn't understand how he creates it, but he does, and they accept it. Audrey becomes Justice, Alger, the hanged man. And Klein, the Fool, sits at the head of the table like a god painted by Lovecraft himself. But it's all a lie, a necessary one. This is the genius of Lord of the Mysteries. The divine isn't divine. The mystical isn't pure. And every layer of power is built on desperation, cunning, and performance. Because Klein is terrified, still just a man, a modern soul stranded in a world of mad gods and ancient powers. He doesn't understand the fog. He doesn't know how this works. But he knows one thing. They believe it. So he becomes it. Not for power, not for ambition, but because it's the only way to survive. The Tarot Club is born not from prophecy, not from fate, but from adaptation. Three strangers, bound by accident, pretending their way through a dangerous, incomprehensible universe. And somehow, in that pretending, they reshape reality itself. The story could have stopped there. It could have been enough, but it doesn't stop. Because power once touched never lets go. Audrey asks for knowledge. She wants to become a beyonder, a person who drinks potions made from mystical ingredients, unlocking powers and madness in equal measure. Alger wants trades, information, leverage. Klein just wants to survive. But the world isn't kind to any of them. After the fog recedes, Klein is left reeling, exhausted, wrung dry, his head pounds, his soul aches. Something in him is stretching, changing. And the question returns, what did I awaken? What have I become? And the worst part? He doesn't have time to find the answer, because the world keeps moving. The forces that caused Klein's death in this new world are still out there, watching, hunting, waiting for him to slip. He's playing a game he didn't choose, but now that he's at the table, he has to win. That's the quiet horror of Lord of the Mysteries. It's not the monsters, not the gods, not the cults, or the fog, or the ancient tomes that bleed ink. It's this, that in order to survive the unknown, you have to become a part of it.